SCP-001-D Ulysses Foole's Proposal, Object Class Thalmio. SCP-001 is an experimental vehicle created by Prometheus Labs, who designated it Project Backway. Constructed out of a modified shipping container, SCP-001 is 13.59 meters long, 2.44 meters wide, and 2.9 meters high. Its exterior has been reinforced with an unknown substance that to date has completely withstood all attempts to cut through. Interior access can be achieved through a bulkhead at one end. The bulkhead can only be opened from within. It leads to the cockpit of SCP-001. This comprises a third of the interior. The cockpit area is composed of a single chair with 6 layers of seat belts, several control consoles, monitors, and 2 bins for storage. The remaining 2/3 contain the internal workings of SCP-001. Maintenance is conducted via one of the consoles. There is no known intentionally designed means of manually repairing SCP-001, as the remainder of the interior is completely sealed off. Though on-site documentation was partially destroyed at the time of its discovery, enough was recovered to determine that SCP-001 is the prototype of a time machine. The time travel function requires an external energy source that does not currently exist in our world. Secondary operations are carried out through an unknown, presumably anomalous power source. Currently, the only operable console functions of SCP-001 are internal lighting, cockpit, air conditioning, maintenance, movement, AM/FM radio, a word processor, spider solitaire, and the hunt for Mr. Swinky. Footnotes. 1. This is conducted through a gravitational repulsion field on the bottom chassis. Due to the fact that its maximum speed is 1 kilometer an hour and its maximum altitude is 28 centimeters, this is only useful for repositioning during storage. 2. Part of the short-lived Mr. Swinky series of computer games included with Prometheus Labs software as an added bonus. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-001 is kept in an armed bunker at Area 31311. Weekly maintenance of critical parts is to be conducted by on-site engineering staff. SCP-001's bulkhead must remain open at all times. In the event of an impending ZK, YK, CK, XK, or VK class scenario, the orders for the usage of SCP-001 are to be unsealed and used by the designated 001 liaison, currently Dr. Katrina Hiroshi. For this reason, the designated 001 liaison is to be permanently stationed at Area 31311. Notice: this article is outdated and has been revised. Proceed to the next iteration. Redirecting. As per the ongoing priority restructuring brought about by Project Beluga, SCP-001 has been designated irrelevant. Beta. Those who have been assigned with SCP-001's containment have already had their duties issued privately. This article bears more immediate importance to the orders in your inbox. Remember, we cannot afford to be distracted in the face of this crisis. Item number SCP-UBU. Object Class Tiamat. SCP-UBU refers to a violent and extremely hostile humanoid entity that appeared in Kangasiak, Greenland on May 12, 2588. The sudden materialization of SCP-UBU coincides with an ongoing Omega-Ka class augmented end-of-death scenario. This was believed to be a separate phenomenon until the stream of regenerative lambda waves was triangulated to SCP-UBU. This event also coincided with the following phenomena: a mass loss of function for all SCP-258-D, SCP-3319, and other objects operated by the Three Moons Initiative. The cessation of all further SCP-2922 communications. severance of the extra-dimensional space known as the Wanderer's Library from Earth. A representative of the Serpent's Hand cited irreconcilable security concerns in the decision. Several incidents in which a representative of Marshall Carter and Dark, having gained access to the O5 Council's personal contact information through unknown means, desperately tried to sell the Foundation large amounts of the company's stock. SCP-4000 losing all anomalous properties. A small parchment note reading, "Good luck," was found in the entryway. SCP-3008 being anonymously brought out by an unknown proprietor and slowly converted into a shelter. In addition to anomalously high physical strength and speed, SCP-UBU has reality-bending capabilities to an unknown extent, usually triggered by screaming or slapping. Defensively, it has remained unscathed from the following damaged forces: blunt force trauma, sustained heavy caliber machine gun fire, temperatures of 1600 Kelvin, sustained artillery fire, a direct energy discharge from SCP-B7-B8, simultaneous direct nuclear strikes. The only lasting damage to SCP-UBU occurred on August 14, 2784, when the entity chewed off its left thumb out of apparent curiosity. This resulted in SCP-UBU emitting a single scream that lasted 7 days, after which it went into a month-long fit of crying and sobbing. The thumb completely regenerated after 30 years and 14 days. Anatomy. The entity is 4.3 meters in height. An exact estimate of its mass remains unknown, but measurement attempts during its brief containment displayed a minimum recorded weight of 15,399 kilograms. Though its anatomical composition remains unknown, SCP-UBU's bodily shape is consistent with an obese, androgynous humanoid. It is covered in hairless, pure white skin that bears a similar texture to that of a dolphin or other small whale. Despite being devoid of eyes, ears, or nostrils, SCP-UBU is fully capable of vision, hearing, and smell. The only apparent sensory organ on its body other than skin is a 0.5 meter wide humanoid mouth with a prehensile tongue of indeterminate length. There is a cloaca on its lower body for expelling waste. Behavior. SCP-UBU does not appear to understand speech in any known language. While it is capable of vocalizations, the majority of them are used for screaming, laughter, and intrigued babbling. Ever since its arrival, SCP-UBU has been devoted to causing as much destruction as possible. Though SCP-UBU will attack anything indiscriminately, SCP-UBU shows preference in assaulting and devouring human beings in densely populated areas. It takes an infantile and curious approach to violence, often playing with its victims for hours on end. The regenerative effect brought about by SCP-UBU's presence has eliminated the possibility of doing permanent damage to anything other than civil infrastructure and property. Ergo, whether there is any greater motive to its rampages other than sadism is unknown. SCP-UBU Timeline. May 12, 2588, 0533 GMT. A 4-kiloton explosion accompanied by an electromagnetic pulse destroys the town of Kangasiak, Greenland. Survivors recall a pale green light enveloping the area. 0615 GMT. Omega Ka class scenario begins, triggering widespread panic. 0846 GMT. O5 Command holds an emergency meeting to address a potential Omega K class scenario. 1105 GMT. First sightings of SCP-UBU reported. May 15th, 2588, 1200 GMT. In order to properly address the regenerative effect, the Foundation's veil is lifted as per the Broken Masquerade Protocol. 051 makes a statement to the UN. May 20th, 2588, SCP-UBU arrives in St. John's, Newfoundland, beginning a 2-year rampage throughout the city. May 21st, 2588, Mobile Task Force News 7 hammered down, engages SCP-UBU in St. John's. July 4th, 2590, 90% of the on-site personnel have been mutilated and regenerated at least 5 times. As such, MTF News 7 deserts St. John en masse in protest of anonymously poor working conditions. SCP-UBU uses the opportunity to break through the defensive line. October 10th, 2590. Project Beluga is founded as a joint effort between the Foundation and the Global Occult Coalition for the purpose of neutralizing the threat posed by SCP-UBU. December 29th, 2590. SCP-UBU reaches Columbus, Ohio. It spends the next year on the following project: digging a 2-kilometer deep hole in the center of the city, gathering 2.9 million people to throw into the hole, repeatedly leaping into the upper stratosphere and stomping into the hole, and drinking the resulting squeezed juices. It eventually grows bored with this and moves on to Lake Erie. January 5th, 2592. SCP-UBU assaults several cargo ships in Lake Erie. 20 ships are thrown out of Earth's gravitational pull. 2 of them land on the moon. Truncated for brevity. June 10th, 2670, 0600 GMT. SCP-UBU is finally contained at Site 59. June 10th, 2670, 0602 GMT. SCP-UBU breaches containment. Subsequent retrieval attempts fail. September 9th, 2673. SCP-UBU spends 73 days rubbing its crotch against the Statue of Liberty while howling. It should be noted that SCP-UBU lacks any sort of visible genitalia. February 10th, 2674. The Schenectady Agreement is signed between NATO powers, the Russian Federation, the People's Republic of China, the Foundation, and the Global Occult Coalition. As such, due to environmental concerns, further nuclear strikes are prohibited against SCP-UBU. Shortly after signing, SCP-UBU breaks into the ceremony and makes a bead necklace out of a few lengths of woven rebar and 15 still living foreign dignitaries. April 30th, 2674. SCP-UBU assaults Site 19. October 30th, 2685. SCP-UBU breaks into Armed Containment Area 179 and swallows SCP-2317 whole. March 5th, 2686. Following SCP-UBU's assault, SCP-2000 has been reclassified, neutralized. Truncated for brevity. March 15th, 2750. Former film star Nash DeGroot publishes the Zonk Manifesto, a book built on the following thesis. Immortality and SCP-UBU's rampages have made life on Earth intolerable, and the only solution is to enter an eternal coma via guided meditation and hard drugs. As such, a social media movement known as the International Zonk gains traction. June 24th, 2790. After a lengthy battle with Project Beluga forces in China, SCP-UBU grows bored and retreats into the Bay of Bengal. This marks the 3-year absence of SCP-UBU, save for continual underwater seismic events during that time. February 15th, 2792. Cuddletopia, the largest Zonk pile so far, reaches its initial goal of 5 million residents and counting. July 10th, 2793. SCP-UBU flings SCP-3000 from the ocean, leaving it beached on Indian soil. Several cities are destroyed in the process. After spending a week pointing and laughing hysterically at SCP-3000, SCP-UBU grabs the end of its tail and begins dragging it across Asia. August 1st, 2793. Still carrying SCP-3000, SCP-UBU crosses the Bering Strait into Alaska. August 29th, 2793. SCP-3000 and SCP-UBU arrive on the eastern coast of Brazil. SCP-UBU drags its cargo into the ocean once again. August 30th, 2793. SCP-169 emerges. Reports that SCP-3000 has been tied around its neck have yet to be proven. Truncated for brevity. December 10th, 3020. The fight between SCP-UBU and SCP-169 ends when the former slaps the latter in the same way as SCP-682. SCP-169 has been reclassified, neutralized. December 11th, 3020. A 10-year period of inactivity from SCP-UBU begins. At this point, despite global immortality, the resulting collateral damage has rendered the surface of the Earth uninhabitable and entirely underwater. Civilization carries on in a single archipelago of floating cities made from ships and debris. May 28th, 3028. The archipelago is deserted. The Foundation's SCP's Naismith contains the only 140 remaining humans who haven't moved to New Zonkland. January 14th, 3030. SCP-UBU sighted in the water off the port bow of Naismith. It vocalizes mockingly before swimming in the direction of New Zonkland. O5 Council calls an emergency meeting. Footnotes. 1. All multicellular life on Earth experiences a bodily regenerative effect, regardless of injury or illness. 2. Due to neutralization, Protocol 4000 SU is no longer in effect. 3. This test was notable as the only example so far of SCP-UBU expressing discomfort. 4. Object Class Euclid, humanoid anomaly capable of turning living flesh to limestone with her voice. 5. Though the language has not yet been identified, this remains the only vocalization from SCP-UBU to date that resembles any form of speech. 6. Specifically, the doorway that led to SCP-2317 Prime was swallowed. Whether or not this has affected SCP-2317-K is unknown. 7. A sort of living mass grave composed of unresponsive adherents of the International Zonk. 8. A massive floating Zonk pile. Many of the residents there have resorted to using anomalous means to lose their consciousness and achieve perfect Zonk. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-UBU must be neutralized by any means necessary. Neutralization efforts are ongoing via Project Beluga. All non-critical resources have been diverted into Project Beluga as needed. Further information and strategic resources are restricted to Project Beluga's staff.